Welcome back to yet another rhythm video where I'll be showing you, yes you, the absolute mega guide on how to use your new Flipper Zero for hacking. Alright, roll the intro screen. Okay, so let's get straight into this now. So our first step is to actually prep our Flipper, or as I like to call it, Flippy, for the first stock firmware and adding UberGuidoz files. This brings up the question about MicroSDs, which is actually more important than you might think, and quite surprising as well. Now I'm going to be talking for a little bit here, but you do need to know this information, so please stick with me. So your Flipper Zero can take and use any card that you want, as long as it is below 256 gigs. However, it's a whole nother story when trying to access the MicroSD that your Flipper formatted. Your computer cannot actually access the MicroSD unless the MicroSD is SDHC. Now you might be thinking, Nick, that's old technology. Well, that makes it more simple and moddable, at least I think. I'm not actually quite sure why, but this is what I have come up with after tons of trial and error. Nice SDHC SDs have too many bells and whistles. I'm talking Samsung, Evo, SanDisk, Gold, and all those microSDs that you might know. When you take a microSD like that and try to make it accessible for multiple devices, it becomes too good in a way, because it becomes confused with all of its tech. It essentially corrupts the SD for use only in the Flipper. Now on the other hand, with SDHC, they have more bare bones features. They are made by lesser known companies such as SP, PNY, Lexer, and in the rare instance of it being made by like a well-known company, like SanDisk or Samsung, they're normally their older style microSDs. These SDHC cards, for some reason, make the info accessible with multiple devices. We still have to set the partition as active every time, but I'll go over that in more detail later. Alright, now that I am done jibber-jabbering about microSDs, it's time to continue the process. You're going to want to grab your SDHC card and plug it into your Flipper. Now you might get an error message like this when it comes up, but just click OK and you can get on with the next process. So we're going to want to go to settings, and I'm actually using an old SDXC card, but that's because I have modified my Flipper internally, so hopefully this works. So now that we've gone to our settings, you're going to see this big beautiful storage button underneath the LCD and notifications button. Click it and go down to Format SD Card. You're going to click Format with the right arrow button, and I'm just going to wait for it to complete. Now this does take just barely any time actually, as you can see. There we go. Alright, fantastic. Now we're ready to plug our Flipper into our marvelous computer. As you can see, I already have it plugged in because I'm running qFlipper, and I'll show you how to install that in a second. Let's make sure we use the exact same cable that came with our Flipper, as we know for sure it can transport data and not only power. But before we update, we obviously need to install qFlipper, this cool application here. So let's head over to the Flipper Zero update site. Okay, so now that we're at the Flipper Zero update site, which is flipper0.1/update or update.flipper0.1. Now that we're here, we're just going to click on the download qFlipper button here, and in this case it's for Windows, but for you it might be Mac, but this tutorial today is for Windows. So let's click download qFlipper. And I already have this set up, however, I'm just going to run this. But anyways, we're just going to open this up, click the setup obviously, and just wait for this to load here. Click the next button, then next again, and then you're going to click the install button. I've already installed it though, so I'm not going to click this. But it should only take a couple of seconds. Anyway. Okay. So once you've done that, just click on the desktop shortcut or search it up and open it up. And since we've already plugged in our flipper, you should see this on the screen. If not, just click on reload or unplug and replug in your flipper. So we can see that it says databases not found and SD card not present. So if it does say that, which it shouldn't actually, just go ahead and reload qFlipper. There we go. So now it says the SD card is there, but the databases still aren't found. So we're going to install them now, though. Navigate over to the second tab shown with a wrench icon and click on the drop down and click development. I like to choose development because it always seems to work a tiny bit better for my use cases, but you can click release as well. However, stay away from release candidate though, as I am not sure what that does yet. Now click the nice orange install button, which in my case is not actually orange, sorry about that, but it is update. What did I just say? Oh my god. It's a green update button, Nick, get that correct. Alright, but we're just gonna click update, and it will begin installing. First you're going to see the loading bar on the qFlipper screen, and then it will transport over to the flipper screen. You might get some error messages on qFlipper, but those are always incorrect, so don't click anything. And wait for it to complete on your flipper, not qFlipper. I can't say that more. I'll be back when it finishes. Okay, success. So in my case, I didn't get any error messages, but that's pretty normal. Just click the continue button, and I'm just gonna click here so you can see my screen, and you're gonna click OK, and then you get these cute little animations here of your Flippy. I don't know how to pronounce his actual name. It's ABS4LE, Absol. I don't know. Anyways, it's time to complete the next step, which is installing our UberGuidoz files from the UberGuidoz GitHub page. So let's navigate over to the storage settings page down here by clicking on the middle button. I can't show you that, but it should show up over here on my input. And you're going to click Unmount SD card. Okay. And now we can safely remove the SD card. You can also turn off your flipper and unplug it. To turn it off, you're going to want to go down to power, power off, and unplug it. Okay, so you're going to want to plug in your microSD using one of those converters that comes with your microSD, or some other kind of converter like a USB-C to microSD, or just USB 3.0 or USB-A, I mean. And you can see that I don't have any problems. But if you look at your File Explorer and see that nothing shows up there, that is because we must mark it as active in a partition manager. Now, if it does show up like mine did, then you can disregard my next mini step here, and we can just use it as this. But as I have this video marked, and you can find the next step if you go forward in the video. But I'm going to show you guys how to fix it if you do, in fact, have a problem. So we actually cannot use the normal partition manager that comes with Windows, and we must use a third-party one. In my case, I'm going to use Minitool Partition Wizard, which you can find in the description of the video. And if you have any trouble installing it, leave a comment, but I feel no current need to show you how to install it. Once installed, you're going to want to open it up. I'm just going to search for it over here. And you're going to want to right-click on the microSD and click on the button that says Set Active. Click Apply. And wait for it to complete. Now if it says set inactive, that'll most likely do the same thing, but I'm not going to apply it because I don't want to ruin my SD card, because it did work for me in the end. So now, let's close this. And if we open up your File Explorer, you're going to see that it should show up now if you did have that problem originally. So, reopen your File Explorer, obviously, and if you have any problems whatsoever, don't worry, go ahead and comment or email me, and I should get back to you very soon. Now that we know for sure that it's working, open up your browser of choice and go to the first GitHub link in the description, which will bring you to the install page for GitHub Desktop. Go through the install process and create an account if you haven't already. If you need help, once again, comment or email me, or find another video on YouTube. There are plenty. Once it is installed, go to the second GitHub link in the description, which I'm going to pull up right now. It is UberGuidoz GitHub page. Click on the top repository that says Flipper, and click the code button up here, which will give you a drop down. Copy the link. Now we're going to open up GitHub Desktop, which we installed earlier, and click Clone a repository from the internet. Select URL and paste in the repository that we found earlier. Now, select a download area. I recommend putting it in another, I recommend putting it in, if possible, on your computer in a separate folder. But if you have to, you can put it on another external drive if you need. I'm going to go down to my other disk, which is a partition of my disk. It's about 30 gigabytes. And I'm going to put it in Flippy stuff. Sorry for the name. Click select folder. If you have any problems, once again, just comment below. And click clone. This can sometimes take up to 15 minutes, so I will be back when it is finished. Okay guys, so you can see that it is done, but I have threats found. So what you're going to want to do is click on that button. Don't worry, the only reason this is happening on our computer here is because Windows is designed to protect against bad USB scripts, and obviously that's not a problem for us. So what you want to do is create an exclusion, add an exclusion, and click folder, and then select the folder in which it was in. In this case, I'm just going to select my entire drive. Click select folder, and once you've done that, you should be good. You're gonna see all this stuff here. That's really not a problem. Just click allow and just get rid of all these because you probably want these on your Flipper. So let's just get rid of these here, and I'll go forward. You can see current threats is 0. So now we are done. So we don't need to touch this anymore. Okay, so as I just said, we are done with all that stuff with GitHub Desktop, and now it's time to copy over the files that we want onto our Flipper. So you can follow my exact process, or you can choose your own. I recommend following my exact process because you get every file possible. Anyways, so let's get this started. So our first step is to open up the place in which we installed excuse me, the files, which is going to be on this PC, then other disk, and then Flippy stuff, then Flipper. And I'm gonna rename this just so I can know what it is a little bit better. UberGuidoz. And you're gonna see tons and just tons of files in here. Within these folders there's tons of files. That's why it was gigabytes of stuff. That's not a problem. We're gonna just get the ones we want and remove the ones we don't. So open up another File Explorer window and head over to Flipper SD, And this is what we want to do. Let's go ahead and make this a bit smaller. So our first thing we want to do is open up our applications here. Sometimes there is some stuff in here, sometimes there isn't, so we don't need anything in the applications. But we can X out of there and open up bad USB, and we need everything in bad USB. So we're going to open up our bad USB folder here. And you're going to see you're going to have assets and all that stuff. Just click over here, do Control A. And then Control C, that's going to copy everything. And now you're just going to do Control V over here on this window. Make sure you're not in this window anymore. Just open this one. And click Control V. And this is going to copy over all of our items over here. I'm going to cut to when this is done. Okay, guys. So our bad USB scripts are done copying over here. You can see if I reload this. Yep, they're all there. I did get a couple more problems with Windows Defender. You can either turn it off or add another exclusion to exclude the Flipper SD. That should fix everything. Other than that, let's continue adding over our other files. Let's head into the infrared folder, and we're just going to copy this stuff into our infrared folder. This is also going to take quite some time, so I'll be back when this is done. Alrighty, so as you can see, if I reload this again, everything is in here now. So our next step is to drag in our NFC files. So enter the NFC page and drag everything in here. This might also take some time. And you can see he also included the Amiibo files, so you don't necessarily have to scan them at a store if that's what you're going to use them for, but I'm not going to recommend that in this video. So this one doesn't look like I'm going to have to cut the video, so we're going to go right on, as you can see, to our next one we have to copy over, which is, I believe, RFID. So if you don't have an RFID folder already, you can go ahead and drag the whole folder in there already. So just copy the entire folder into there. You can see that he does have a brute force inside it, but not really anything. Other than that, we can go ahead and drag our sub-gigahertz files into there now, and this is the big one. I don't believe it takes too long to copy over, but it will take probably around 10 minutes, so, oh, I was right, it does say about 9 minutes. Alright, so I'll be back when this is done. Okay guys, so you can see that everything is basically done here. Anyways, that's all we really need as far as UberGuidoz goes. So now that we are done copying our files, it is time for the main step, installing our custom firmware. Now I will leave a disclaimer. Do not use the custom firmware's features on anybody's items or personal belongings, including their cars, houses, or private jets, unless you have their permission. This video is obviously for educational purpose only. But is it really? Anyways, I personally believe that Roguemaster is the best, as it is just an amped up version of Unleashed. Extreme is fantastic, however it has watermarks, hidden pictures, which are pretty bad, and some other stuff. So for all around use, I recommend Roguemaster or Unleashed. Today, I'll be showing you the install of Roguemaster though. So obviously unplug your MicroSD from your computer. Do not eject it. That does leave a problem sometimes with the active and inactive features. So once you have unplugged it, go ahead and plug it straight into your Flipper and turn your Flipper back on. And everything is looking good. Now click on the third GitHub link in the description, which will bring you to the Roguemaster GitHub page. Okay, so now navigate to the button below the Releases button. And once here, scroll down to where the install files are. Select the TGZ file and download it. There are also no animation TGZ files normally in the releases, but in this case, I recommend otherwise. So just click it, and TGZ files are extremely compressed, so that's gonna be very fast. From here, it's simple. Open up our trusty qFlipper software and click Install from File. Navigate over to where we have saved or downloaded our Rogue Master TGZ file and click Open. Click Install, and now this will install everything that is in there. Now, once again, do not click anything while it is installing, and I'll see you when it's done. Hello again. As you can see, it has finished installing, so we are basically done. I did get a success update installed pop-up that happened way before it was done, so don't click anything if that happens to you. But anyways, as you can see, we can just navigate through our menu here. You can disable animations and stuff like that through here. If you go into CFW settings and we go to interface, I have a YouTube short on this, but you can change the app list to a WeGrid, which in my personal opinion looks much nicer. But obviously don't get confused between sub-gigahertz and the other ones that say sub-gigahertz, because one of them's a playlist, one's the remote. As you can see, this is the playlist, that's the remote. So yeah, don't get confused between that. You can obviously, as I said, modify animations, which I'll make a video on soon, and do many more things, which I'll also make videos on as well. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope the process was nice and simple for you. I appreciate the support lately, especially for my new subscribers, as I have gained an awesome 22 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. My next goal is 1,000, so I'm gonna start pumping out a lot of content, especially my shorts. Anyways, I have new content planned about retro gaming and more Flipper Zero stuff, so stay tuned for that. So please subscribe as I'm trying to grow, like the video as it really helps out, and leave a comment if you need any help as well. Once again, thanks for watching. This has been Nick with the channel Rhythm, and have a wonderful musical morning indeed. See ya!